Are you aware that women are maybe wanting to try more natural ways now of contraception and testing their fertility?
That's exactly it. So even when women come to see me in fertility practice, they want to do things more naturally. And it's exactly the same as I think we're seeing that translate into the contraceptive world now as well. And women are just growing increasingly aware of what they're putting into their bodies, not just with drugs, but also in terms of what they eat, chemicals they use around.
You hear that a lot, Zoe, don't you? Women saying, oh, I've been on the pill for so long,
Yeah.
is this healthy?
Yeah, and definitely we are seeing a trend to people exploring other options, particularly younger women. But having said that, as a GP, the pill is by far still the most popular choice amongst women.
It's the most popular choice because it works.
It works.
And that's the question about gadgets.
Yeah, so for the vast majority of women, the pill is still safe and very effective.
It's been around a long time, so it's been
So
tried and
let's
tested.
talk about the gadgets, Larisa. So this one we've got is a personal fertility tracker and an app called Daisy.
Absolutely. So this is what the Daisy looks like, if you can just zoom into that shot. So there's two different parts to it. The first part is the thermometer.
Right.
So that checks something called your basal body temperature, which is your morning temperature, and it's really important that's taken at the same time each day.
Under your tongue?
Under your tongue,
Just
ideally. In case you're wondering where else to put that.
I was wondering, like, OK.
And then we've got a central button here, which you press after you've taken your temperature, and that should then flash with 3 different colours, which indicate how fertile you are.
OK.
So, again, the app that comes with it will explain this. The green is for go. It means that you're good to go.
So here
you can
we have an
sex.
example of somebody tracking for a month there.
Absolutely. So the green buttons demonstrate when you can have sex. The red ones are the danger zone, so that's when you're most fertile, when you should abstain from sex or use barrier contraception.
Yeah.
So it calculates your fertility window.
Absolutely, yes.
Does it come with a guarantee?
Well, they claim it comes with a guarantee of about 99% efficacy rate in terms of preventing pregnancy.
So either way, if you're trying to get pregnant, it tells you when you're most fertile.
That's right.
And you should have sex.
Exactly.
And if you're trying not to be pregnant, the danger
Exactly.
time of not to have unprotected
dual
sex.
purposes, dual functions. So exactly, you can use it if you're also trying to optimise when to have sex and when to.
What do you think of that?
Well, to be honest, I've not used it personally to try. I think it's a great idea because it's trying to avoid the need to use hormones. But as to how effective it is, you know, it needs. Ideally, we need to have it around for a longer period of time to trial and use to see that. I think it's important, though, to bear in mind, as with all of these gadgets, that they don't protect you from STDs and that also if you've got irregular cycles, they may not be so reliable because your basal body temperature may not be an accurate
And £256,
indication.
so...
It is quite expensive,
Quite
that's the other
expensive.
thing.
Well,
Yeah.
so is the next one, £249. And here you're going to see what is called the Ava bracelet.
That's right.
Ovulation tracking bracelet.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like. We don't have one in the studio, but what you do with this is you wear it when you go to sleep. And this is quite fascinating because it detects things like your heart rate, your sleep pattern, your breathing rate in order to try and predict when you're going to ovulate. Now, with the Ava bracelet, this isn't actually deemed to be that useful as a contraceptive. It's more useful if you're trying to get pregnant.
Right.
But the other really useful function in this is when you are pregnant, you can also use it to track your pregnancy. So that's what that's.
So you think
developed
that's
for.
quite good? And then finally, Natural Cycles contraceptive app device.
That's right. So this is the only one out of the 3 that's actually been approved by the FDA, the Food and Drugs Association in America, as being a contraceptive, and it's deemed to be as effective as the pill through clinical trials. This is what it comes with. So this is an example of the thermometer that you get when you sign up. The cost is $39.99 per year, along with the thermometer, and you get the app that, again, detects your temperature. It uses a complex algorithm to detect when you're most fertile and then calculates...
So again, you get green days, red days.
Exactly right, yes.
OK, so you think you'd quite like that one?
Well, Zoe's actually used this one herself, so I think she's...
you done?
I tried it a few
Good
months
place to-
ago just as a trial to see what it was like. I wasn't trying to get pregnant or prevent pregnancy at the time, just to see what it was like. And it was really easy to use, but I would forget quite often.
Well, I was just going to say, these all sound very interesting. It's modern technology and
yeah.
amazing use of modern technology, but you have to really commit, don't you,
Yeah,
to
that's
doing
right.
it properly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this one, they say it's 99% effective when used perfectly, but You've got to use it perfectly.
So let's talk about the pill, which
Yeah.
you said, you know, most women who come to your surgery are
Yeah.
asking for the pill because they think it's the most reliable, it's most easiest maybe to remember.
Yeah.
Who should be on it and more importantly, who shouldn't?
OK, so the pill is suitable for the vast majority of women, but a lot of people do experience side effects with the pill. And my advice to women who do experience side effects is you don't have to tolerate side effects. And come back and tell your doctor, I have 29 different versions of the pill that I can prescribe, and we have a whole host of other forms of contraception as well. The pill isn't safe for some women, and it's not safe for women who are already at increased risk of either a blood clot or significantly increased risk of breast cancer. And that's because being on the pill can ever so slightly increase your risk of both of those. So if you're already at increased risk, that's dangerous. But for the majority of women, that slight increase in risk isn't relevant. And what we often don't talk about are some of the added benefits of the pill. So the pill can also prevent some cancers. So it can reduce your risk of bowel cancer, ovarian cancer and cancer of the womb, can help with some skin conditions. And in some people can actually improve mood rather than reduce mood. But I think the biggest side effect I see is mood disturbance, and including depression and actually lack of sexual desire, which women don't often come and talk about, but that's a common side effect of the pill that doesn't need to be tolerated.
So, as you said, you don't have to put up with side effects. What
Absolutely.
other contraceptions are available that would be your next choice maybe after the pill?
So as GPs, we often tend to steer people down the direction of what we call long-acting reversible contraception. So these are methods that are actually more effective than the pill because you don't need to remember them. And they include the implant that goes in the arm, lasts for 3 years, the injection that you have once every 3 months, or...
No, I don't know too much about that one. Has that been around a long time?
Yeah, it's been around a long time, safe. Some people get side effects, some people don't. One of the things you don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 devices are devices that go into the womb. So the coil, the old-fashioned coil, still around.
And is that true? You shouldn't have that unless you've had a baby?
No, not
No, that's an old
necessarily.
wives'
Not
tale.
necessarily. It can be more painful to insert if you've never had a baby, but they can give you a local anaesthetic there. So the intrauterine device, which is the coil, that's been around a long time, no hormones at all. And the other one is the intrauterine system, often called Mirena, and that's really good for women who have problems with their periods as well. So it's often used for period problems rather than contraception.